Okay, so moving on. You've done everything up through page 80, and now we are starting this week's assignments with page 81, and we're finishing up the unit on eighth notes with music theory. And there's a review at the top reminding you that 2 eighth notes equals 1 quarter note when it comes to rhythm. And you're going to write notes. You're going to write 1 note in each box to equal the number of eighth notes you have here. So they did the first one for you. 4 eighth notes equals a half note. And so you fill in the other 3. And then we have incomplete measures. Notice the time signature is different for the first one than it is for the second one. So you want to figure out how many beats do I need for each measure, and then complete the measure by using eighth notes. You can use, if you just need 1 beat, you can use a pair of eighth notes, or you can also beam them together by 4. Just like they did here, 4 eighth notes equals a half note. So if you need 2 beats in a measure, you can draw 4 eighth notes and beam them all together. If you have 2 pairs of eighth notes, that's the same thing. There's no difference in the rhythm. And then you can go a little further by playing the rhythms. You don't have to post yourself doing these rhythms at all if you decide to do that. That's just for extra practice. All right, the next section, number 3, the first thing you're supposed to do is write in the counts. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for this line, 1 and 2 and 3 and for this line. If you want to sight read these, the best way to do that is to record yourself playing it the very first time you try it. I'll take a second time. Or you could record yourself playing it the first time and then maybe pretend like there's a repeat sign and play it again. Because if you practice it, it's not sight reading. So, and it's helpful to me to know how you're starting off with something. How do you start? Do you I've already figured out the rhythm and looked at it, and you can do it in your head as many times as you want, but the first time you play it, that's the actual sight reading. And then at the bottom, this is reviewing that C sus4 chord, remember on page 77, where the C sus4 chord is the C, F, G instead of C, E, G, and it's called the C sus4. The 4 is because the interval between C and F is a fourth. So you're just going to identify those. So I would need a picture of the whole page, or maybe, I don't know, you figure it out how it would be best to do that. If you want to do half the page or the whole page, I can zoom in if I need to. Moving on is Unit 7 on pages 82 and 83. And there's one big song here, but first we're learning the treble space notes, F, A, C, E. And we already know F. F is the note that we've been playing right above middle C. We know G, which is the line above it, and they note the G line there. We've already played A some, and we're adding C and E. These are all space notes, so they're skips. So if you do what they tell you to do here, which is to play F, A, C, E with your right hand 2-finger, you take your right hand and go F, A, C, E, and you're playing skips. And so we're going to start in a different hand position and give you these blanks are for you to fill in the note names to help you remember where you are. The left hand's not doing anything different, but the right hand's going to start higher. It's going to start on that F above middle C, and then with your right hand you'll be able to reach up to the treble C up here, this treble C, and then your left hand will have to cross over to play the E, which is there, not where I was pointing before. So you'll be able to reach up to the C, left hand crosses over to play the E, notice the circle finger number, and then the right hand's already there. They're just reminding you the right hand plays that. I'll give you a little hint. The second line of this song, which is on the second page, is the same thing as the first, it's just soft. And then you do some different things. Moon on the Water is a type of song that paints a picture. It's not the kind of song that you would put words to and sing. but it is one that kind of paints a picture. Notice the pedal markings at the bottom of each line. You're going to bring the pedal down and you're going to hold it out. This doesn't even come up. You're going to hold it out all the way through the song. You'll notice that line underneath each music line, and it doesn't come up until the very end. You'll bring it up. So all of that is going to sort of slur together. You'll use the right foot pedal for that. And if you find that you need to focus on your notes and rhythms first before you add the pedal, do that, because you'll find yourself bringing the pedal up because you're like, oh, I messed up and now I need to go back, and then you put the pedal back down. Just leave the pedal out until you feel comfortable with the whole thing. I think that's it. You may go on to the next song if you want to. I will warn you, though, that it's actually, in my experience, it's been easier for students to completely change their hand position and start on a note like here where it's a fourth up than in 500-year-old melody where you're only moving up to D, because you're seeing a lot of the same notes you see in C position, but you're just one finger off, and it can be kind of frustrating. So if you want to save 500-year-old melody to work on all by itself in 1 week, that's great. If you want to start working on it some this week, that's fine. I'm not assigning it to you at all. But your theory on page 81 and then Moon on the Water will be your assignments for next week. Hope you have a good one.